Hi friends, you're tuned in to Legal Means Business, a podcast by Leeway. We're joined by some amazing guests who help us identify how to take your legal function and career to the next level. I'm your host, Steph Smith, and we're talking all things legal ops and legal tech, as well as other critical skills needed to help you thrive in the evolving in-house arena. Don't forget, you can watch us on YouTube or listen on the go through Spotify or Apple Podcasts. If you enjoy the conversation, please do hit subscribe and let us know what you think on social.
I was skeptical when I was starting making my TikToks. I was like, is the industry ready? Isn't it too, let's say, childish for like this very traditional, very standardized industry? But yeah, honestly, it wasn't. I've got a lot of positive feedback after my content. So yeah, I feel like it's good. It's sort of shifting the stigma of this industry being very traditional and stuck in one place. So I do enjoy it.
Who would have thought that sharing TikToks on LinkedIn, poking fun at the world of legal, would create such a strong sense of community? This is exactly what Mat Jakubowski has managed to achieve, thanks to his refreshing take on how legal topics can be communicated. Mat is a legal ops specialist with almost 10 years of experience, during which he shifted from a purely legal environment to the world of legal tech. He is now best known in the legal community as someone who shares thought-provoking and well-designed commentary around the world of legal, proving that we can break down the barriers between legal and the rest of the business with a more approachable and human communication style. Today, Mat joins us to explore how you can find your legal community online, as well as taking a deep dive into some of his most popular posts around legal tech and legal ops. Let's dive in. Mat, hello.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Yeah, very good, very good. Always a pleasure to be part of a podcast. So yeah.
Yeah, well, we're delighted to have you. I know we've spoken a few times before, so I'm happy you're here to share your insights with us. Because I've been enjoying all your LinkedIn posts and your TikToks, especially on LinkedIn. They've been super interesting. So hopefully we can dig into that a bit later on as well, if that's okay. I guess to start with, it'd be great to hear a little bit more about your experience and how you've ended up where you are today and doing what you're doing.
Yeah, sure. So my experience is pretty much in legal. So the standard traditional legal path. I thought I'm gonna end up sort of in a traditional legal role, solicitor, barrister, in-house. I mean, I did end up as in-house a couple of years ago. Did I enjoy it? To a degree, I did. But yeah, I decided that my passion lies somewhere else. That is not
Mhm.
completely outside of legal. It is
Mhm.
legal, but it's not really. It's not solving sort of the client's problems or your company's problems, firm problems, but more broadly the industry
Yeah.
problems in terms of technology and sort of how things can be done better, more efficient, and sort of how it could work not only for our little sort of like space, but for the
Mhm.
whole legal space. So that's
Mhm.
why I moved into legal tech. Been working here and there, and also recently started doing quite a lot in terms of legal content. I post stuff
Mhm.
on LinkedIn, as you've mentioned. I also make TikToks. It's super fun. For me, it's just like doing something that I love doing, because like my passion
Mhm.
is really about just looking at things from a different perspective, because like I've been there. I know what it's like to go through like a huge approval process to like have your documents done before sale, for example, or something like that,
Mhm.
or all that bureaucratic stuff that you have to deal with when you have like a when you're working on something from a legal perspective. So I thought, why don't I share my experience, but not in a way that is sort of standard, like me saying, oh, things should be done this way or that way, but rather a bit more creative. Because I always
Hmm.
felt like I have this creative spirit in me. So
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I've started doing a lot of stuff on LinkedIn and yeah, TikTok recently because why
Yeah.
not? I mean, TikTok's it's TikTok are getting bigger and
Hmm.
legal industry. I feel like it's I was skeptical
Hmm.
when I was starting making my TikToks. I was like, is the industry ready? Isn't it too, let's say, childish for like this very traditional, very standardized industry? But yeah, honestly, it wasn't. It wasn't. I've got a lot of like positive feedback
Yeah.
after my content. So yeah, I feel like it's yeah, it's good. It's sort of shifting the stigma of this
Hmm.
industry being very yeah like traditional and yeah stuck in one place. So
Hmm.
I do enjoy it. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's a few words about myself.
Yeah, totally. And you can see from on your posts the engagement and the comments, and everyone's relating to it, so that you can see for sure that a more fun and approachable voice of legal is definitely welcome as well, I'm sure. But I guess in terms of your experience, it's quite interesting because there's so many different routes that you could take in the legal world. And it's, I suppose, some of the roles that exist now probably didn't even exist 2 years ago, even, for instance. And I know you spent some time as even a legal engineer, which is a position I'm seeing more and more of. Could you tell me a bit about what is a legal engineer? What does a legal engineer do?
It's a great question. I mean, yeah, I mean, just to say a few words about what you said before. Yeah, when I graduated from law school, I'm just trying to think if there was such a thing as as legal tech.
Hmm.
I'm not too sure. I felt like the only two ways were sort of in house or working for a law firm. So there was yeah there were like alternative legal paths, but just I don't know. I just didn't think I would go that direction in the end.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that's why it's like now it's just so many new paths, routes to go into. There's legal
Hmm.
tech, there is legal design, a lot of
Yep.
there's a lot of great legal designers in the market, legal operations in general. Yeah, I mean it's growing, and I feel like it's great because it's just you might have that legal background, or you might be interested in legal or legal processes, but not necessarily what you want to practice law,
Hmm.
which is my case basically. I want to. I have the background, but I'm yeah, my area of interest is lies somewhere else.
Hmm.
So yeah, a legal engineer. That's a yeah, good question. Legal engineer makes it all possible. I mean, what they do is really it's really sort of how I'm going to put it into words. Yeah, making sure that you use legal tech that brings value, and
Hmm.
yeah, and because there's a lot of legal tech on the market, and there's the competition is growing day by day. The market's quite saturated with some of the tools with certain areas. So yeah, legal engineers is really there for you to try to scout the right tool to make sure that you use the right tool. Perhaps you already have the tool. Maybe you just need
Hmm.
someone to just like put pieces together and just make it all work for you. Because sometimes
Hmm.
you don't have to get a new tool for you to solve your sort of yeah your pain points. Perhaps you already have it,
Hmm. Hmm.
yeah, that person is sort of yeah making that journey sort of easy for you, easy to digest for your teams. Make that value is really there for you. Not just like buying your tools for sake of buying. So like, it's like a ego buying just because something is flashy, it's new. It doesn't have to bring value to your particular organizations. So yeah, I mean, I would say that that's the role of legal engineer in a nutshell. I mean, there's a lot of things from like project management parts,
Hmm.
process mapping and things like that. So there's a lot, but yeah, I would say just making legal tech work for you and bringing you value.
Yeah, for sure. That makes total sense. And you touched on it briefly there, in terms of legal design. I That comes to mind a bit when I see your posts on LinkedIn because they're quite creative and they're colorful and they're really simplifying a lot of ideas in a great, easily digestible way. So I think, yeah, I can tell you've got a good design head on you as well. So, and obviously now you're super active on LinkedIn and you're kind of building a community there, and I can see lots of people engaging with you. Lots of our audience is in-house professionals, and I think they've struggled in the past to kind of find a community because obviously in the business they're they could even be the sole in-house legal lawyer or professional. And online, for instance, they're now beginning to find a community of other in-house professionals. So, how important is it, would you say, for an in-house professional, in-house lawyer to find a community?
I feel like from a like mental perspective is super important because sometimes you just feel like you're the cost center. Let's
Yeah.
put it that way. Like I wouldn't say you're not. Sometimes you just feel like you're not needed in your organizations,
Mhm.
but sometimes it's like you graduate from law school and you imagine your flashy great career, you go to work in house, and then sometimes you might not be the sort of the top part of the company, and that's not okay. For sure, that's not okay, and I feel like that should be something that we should work on as well as a community, as an industry, to make sure that we value our in-house lawyers, especially if there's just one
Mhm.
within like with small organizations. But also that knowledge sharing is also important because it is on social media is also important because they can see how things can be done differently. Because yeah,
Mhm.
if you're there by yourself, if you're just finding, especially if you're new, quite a fresh one. I was quite a fresh one as well. To find your feet, it takes time, and obviously you make a lot of errors. Hopefully not the legal ones, but yeah, a lot of sort of procedural errors.
Mhm.
They can be, you can find better ways of running your projects, dealing with contracts, dealing with redlining, dealing with your third parties, dealing with a lot of things that
Mhm.
yeah, can speed up the process. But you wouldn't know about that if you wouldn't see, say, post on LinkedIn, or if you wouldn't be inspired by, say, TikToks or things like that. So there is
Mhm.
definitely a need of that, because yeah, if you have other people in your organizations that are sort of working with you on a particular let's say share the same set of responsibilities, I guess you can learn from them.
Mhm.
If they're good, if they're innovative, if they can spark that sort of innovation in you, that's great. But if you're just a sole legal practitioner in your organization, I feel like that's why those posts are quite important, because they might just inspire you to do something different and something better for you, and also for
Mhm.
your organization. So yeah, that's the sort of idea behind it, to be that sort of little nugget of inspiration that I can
Mhm.
share with other legal professionals.
Yeah, totally. And yeah, it certainly comes across that way. So it's amazing. I'm loving what you're doing. And so, what is the legal community like on LinkedIn? If someone's not active or isn't perhaps not even on LinkedIn yet, what's the legal community like on LinkedIn?
I feel like it's a community that is still growing. I don't think it's like we are at the stage where everyone in the community is there.
Mhm.
It's still a community that is and it's sort of in this process of just trying to find best ways to collaborate. I mean, I love LinkedIn. I feel like it's great. But what I'm trying to do with my posts, and I haven't seen before, is just like a bit of a lighter view on like serious matters like a billable hour, or client pain points, perhaps, yeah, billing in general. I mean, billing is usually yeah, quite a serious topic, and you
Hmm.
wouldn't want to sort of go too crazy about it, especially on like professional social media as is LinkedIn. So I'm trying to sort of break that stigma a little bit and just try to be a little bit more open about it.
Hmm.
I also like I said, like in-house lawyers being cost centers. This is something that we know is the case, but I feel like it's good that we discuss alternatives, that
Hmm.
things can be different, and I feel like approaching it from a different perspective, sometimes with a bit of humor, sometimes a bit of you know like sarcasm. I feel like it's good because it just keeps things flowing the more innovative way. Yeah,
Hmm.
so that's what I'm trying to introduce on LinkedIn. And yeah, I feel that the community is growing, like I said.
Hmm.
and and yeah, I mean, this is just a, I'm not saying like this is the truth, and I'm like, my posts are always you know sometimes I'm trying to spark a conversation rather than to be like, okay, this is the only thing that is true. I'm just trying to make this community sort of grow organically in a way. So that's that. But
Hmm.
it's an exciting time,
Yeah.
especially now with legal tech, with, yeah, like you said, legal design, with things
Hmm.
happening, with things changing, with the billable hour model sort of, let's say, changing into something else, with clients being more aware that there are different ways of practicing law, there are different ways of drafting contracts. I feel like it's an exciting time for the community to sort of go into that new direction. And yeah, if we can do it using LinkedIn, then why not?
If you're ready to absorb fresh ideas and find yourself a legal community online, LinkedIn might be the place for you. Especially if you're a solo in house lawyer or part of a very small team, LinkedIn might just be the trigger you need to inspire you to do something different for you and your business. To benefit from the legal knowledge sharing that's already happening on LinkedIn, there are a few things that you can do. If you don't already have one, get your profile set up on LinkedIn. Follow some thought leaders in the industry to catch their commentary around the world of legal. You can join groups that are relevant to your interests. Try searching groups relating to in house legal, legal ops, or legal tech. Carve out some time to scan through LinkedIn on a daily basis. You'll hopefully find some great insights that you can try out for your business. Don't forget to check out the comments section of LinkedIn posts too. There's often some hidden insights in there. Lastly, when you're ready, start to share your own thoughts, opinions, and insights, whether that's by sharing your very own post, commenting on other people's posts, or sharing your thoughts in a group. And I love that you're doing it in a way that it feels a lot more human, and I think it's allowing lawyers who maybe haven't traditionally been able to tap into their other skills or their other passions or other sides of them that traditionally they've had to hold back because it's not the stereotypical, or it's not what a lawyer should be like. So I think it's great that it's becoming an outlet to express your thoughts in a more creative manner as well, if you wish to.
I mean, yeah, definitely. Like I said, with my TikToks and even with my posts, I was like, should I not do it? Like, how
Mhm.
is the community going to react? Are they gonna say, oh, this is like not professional? Like, am I gonna struggle to find clients, to find a job after that? Perhaps, I had this
Mhm.
thoughts on my mind for a bit, but yeah, I feel like this is not, as long as I'm not disclosing sort of my client's private information, as long as I'm not saying something completely bonkers, scandalous, whatever, like, it's
Mhm.
fine. Like, to have a bit of fun, I think every industry needs a bit of fun. As long as, yeah, you don't go overboard. I feel like this is something that you can learn through that, and yeah, I think this industry definitely needs it, and
Mhm.
and yeah, sometimes you just need to risk it. Sometimes you just need to risk it for a biscuit. So yeah, that's
Yes,
what I that's
totally.
what I try to do.
Yes. And were you nervous when you started posting on LinkedIn? How did it feel?
Um, well, I mean, I was this. yeah, I feel like I was nervous when I tried my first post, because the reception wasn't crazy huge from the get go. So I was like, does it make sense for me to post like things on LinkedIn? Does anyone care, about that? But I don't really do it for like likes or like
Hmm.
whatever, people commenting or sharing. It's great that people do it. Um, I feel like it's more about sort of me expressing sort of my thoughts in a creative way. So it's not really
Hmm.
about me being, popular or being a trendsetter or being an influencer in that
Hmm.
space. Obviously, it'll be good, but it's not really what motivates me to like post things every day.
Hmm.
It's really about, just like I said, being like I'm a creative person, and that's why sort of working in that very strict legal world was not exactly for me. That's why I moved into legal tech, and that's why I'm sort of trying to, yeah, use this outlet to share my ideas with other users to create this community. And yeah, it was difficult in a way that, if you get a couple of likes, like you do it every day and you just don't see any results, it can be demotivating. But yeah, if you really like doing it, I wouldn't worry too much. If you have to do it, if it's part of your sort of role, wherever, yeah, that can be demotivating. But yeah, I do enjoy it, and honestly, it
Hmm.
doesn't take that much time. Doesn't take
Yeah.
that much time, my agenda. I don't spend hours to like think, oh, what am I gonna like post today? I need to think.
Yeah.
Like, the best ideas come in like, a couple of minutes. I just feel like, I have an idea. Okay, I'm gonna like, today I was thinking about, I don't know, like what like, innovation in law firms. Like, what's innovation in law firms? What does it mean to be innovative? Like, and then yeah, have a quick, yeah, like,
More organic. Hmm.
yeah, I feel like this is just that process that just should flow. We shouldn't plan it too much, because yeah, I just feel like the more I plan it, and the more like, oh yeah, this is like super like clever and intelligent, and I feel like this is going to like be like a great post. But I don't know, I just feel like the less you plan it, the more
Hmm.
simple the more simple language you use, the more simple the layout you use is much better, because you just get
Hmm.
more audience and people are engaging with your post. So that's super cool. That's why I'm like not sweating over it too much these days. So yeah, and it's good.
Good. Yes. Yeah. I agree. I completely agree. And what would be your advice for someone wanting to kind of start their LinkedIn journey or become part of that legal community on LinkedIn?
I would say, just think what you want to say. Think about what interests you. Not really. I wouldn't like I wouldn't think about like hot topics or things that people would click on, or like what's sort of interesting at the moment, because you would lose the enthusiasm very quickly. Like, I've started doing this a few months ago, because I was genuinely interested about sort of legal tech, the industry, how things can be done differently. Also a bit TikToks as well. Like, I was interested in how that would work, so I wanted to experiment a little bit with that. And yeah, I'm doing it because it's something that I'm genuinely passionate about. So if you I don't know, if you're interested about GDPR, for example, or yeah, legal design, let's say, or other parts of the legal industry, of the legal world, go for it. I mean, 100%, because you don't have to be an expert to spark a conversation. I'm not saying I'm an expert in all of those fields that I'm posting, my posts on. I'm trying to sort of, like I said, give it a little nugget of information, what I think about particular area, and then I want people to like engage with that, and see how we can, how we can create a little conversation. So yeah, definitely we need more people posting stuff like that. I feel like I don't see a lot of people doing the same thing as I like similar things that I do, which it's not great. I would love other people to do it because I feel like it's such a great way to share your knowledge to really create that value in a sort of more graphic way. Yeah. So if you're passionate about something, if you don't feel like if you're not doing it to get, if you don't feel the need to do it, just for money or to get your clients, whatever, then it's like a hobby. So then you can
Hmm.
really find your niche in that LinkedIn world.
Yeah, totally. That makes complete sense. And you've touched on it as well. It feels like there's maybe a bit of a misconception about what LinkedIn is, and it is the business network of all the social networks. But for someone starting out, how how should they be conducting themselves on LinkedIn?
Well, I mean, I feel like the last thing that people want on LinkedIn is to like have little pitches of, because obviously you have people pitching to you left, right, and center, and if they can see that your post is really about it's like a bait and switch, then it's not. I don't think it's genuine. That's what I've said. You need to be passionate about your area of expertise. You need to be passionate about what you're posting on. So it comes across as a sort of a nice thing to that me as an audience. I don't feel like you want something from me. You give me something, but I don't. It's not like a sales pitch. So that's yeah, that's that. If you can make certain connections, if you can create relationships, that's great. I mean, I'm all about creating connections, but yeah, I would say, yeah, like I know I would not engage with posts that are sort of very sort of salesy and try to sort of yeah, convey the message in a way that sort of takes you to like a payment page. So yeah,
Yes,
I just feel
definitely.
like it needs to be something like a genuine attempt to yeah, to bring some value to your
Hmm.
audience.
Yeah, definitely. It sounds like uh, it's a bit of a cliche, but just be yourself.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. It's If you're not passionate about what you're doing, other people definitely won't be.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. That makes sense. Yeah. And it'd be great if you've got some time, we could dig into just one or two of your posts that I've noticed and that I love and that I've seen people have been engaging with. It'd be great to have a quick chat about those if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So I suppose one that stuck out to me, obviously, Leeway being a legal tech company. So there was one that was centered around choosing the right legal tech solution. And you said to focus on your pain points. And I can completely get behind this. So I was just hoping you could maybe walk us through your thoughts on that matter.
Yeah, I mean that's again quite a broad matter. You can have a lot of different pain points. I mean, okay, first things first. If you are looking for a legal tech solution, start with your pain points. Start with why you want to speed up things, why you want to make things more efficient, because you might find yourself in a situation that you already have that solution in your tech stack, and you don't really need to look for different tools on the market to make it work for you. Yeah, so your pain points, it's super important. It's really how you what's missing in this bigger picture. What's is it the sort of the efficiency that you spend too much time on repeatable tasks, because that's the usual pain point, that things that can be automated, you just don't automate them. You spend that time carrying out those tasks, and you can utilize that time in a much better way. It can be pressure from different parts of the organization. That's also a pain point. Also, like I've mentioned before, approval processes, they're quite lengthy sometimes, and just like those approvals just like get stuck in on an email chain, and no one is really responding to you, or you're stuck with your negotiation process with your counterparty. So there's a lot of pain points that exist, and obviously this is far from it being the sort of exhaustive list. But yeah, my point is really to just think about the list, that what is really the problem here is definitely not the technology. I don't think that the technology is usually a problem. Is I would say that the process is usually a problem. Sometimes technology can't handle the process that you want to have in place, and that's why you would look for a different technology. But it's really the technology, the main pain point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. And at a practical level, how would you actually go about doing this? And how would you go about identifying your pain points?
Yeah, so think about your stakeholders, what they say about the process, and monitor the time they spend on certain tasks. Map those tasks. I mean, it's obviously high level. You can really map every single minute of every sort of stakeholder, or every single person in the team, what they're doing. But yeah, have a high level overview and see if what time is sort of needed to complete a certain task, and see how important that this task is in a bigger picture. If it takes days and days to complete a very simple task that brings no value to the company, then probably that's a pain point, because you can utilize the time in a better way. But if it's something that takes a long time, but perhaps there is some value to it, then it might work out in the end. But I would say it's really have a really clear vision as to how your team or how the company operates from the time standpoint, and also deliverable standpoint, and really see if that makes sense to you, because there's a lot of things that are sort of the customary things, that the things don't change, and you just feel like that's the only way that the team should work. But yeah, there are better ways of doing things. So I would definitely check that, and yeah, perhaps improve those processes. And if that is not going to work, then we can sort of move into technology.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it feels like this is a really critical stage to obviously identify those pain points. Otherwise, you could end up with a great product as a tech solution, but it's not going to be right for your context. So it feels like it's a really critical phase to spend time on.
Yes, definitely. So yeah, also when it comes to sort of selecting the technology, if you're at that stage, when you select the technology, yeah, take your time, see if this legal tech tool is targeted to your particular needs, because a lot of tools are sort of, yeah, a lot of legal tech tools are targeted, let's say, to the whole industry, to law firms, to companies, small, medium, large. That's what they say. But
Mhm.
you need to see it for yourself. You need to make sure that you know sort of what the success stories of those platforms are, what sort of clientele they deal with, any other clients that you can potentially reach out to, because that's also quite a good way to see if that is going to work out for you. If you know that a similar sized
Mhm.
company has been using that platform, perhaps you can reach out to them, and see how that relationship went with them. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things you can do in that process. But yeah, selecting a good legal tech platform is getting more and more difficult.
When exploring your legal tech options, it's absolutely critical that you focus on your specific pain points. There are so many options on the market, so investing in a tool that meets your specific requirements is key to achieving a good return on investment. It's important to note that you should be thinking about the pain points of the whole business, not solely the legal department. So, how do you identify your pain points? Well, firstly, speak to your stakeholders and map out their current challenges. Who are they? What do they say about your current processes? How much time are they spending on certain tasks? And what's the ROI of this activity? Then, do the same for your legal team. What is working well for you and what isn't? The goal is to have a clear vision of how your company currently operates in terms of legal matters. Next, as the first port of call, use this newfound understanding of what's not working to improve your processes. Then, if it still doesn't resolve the issues, it's time to look and explore legal tech solutions that are targeted to your specific requirements. And you had another post that was around setting the expectations of the stakeholders to improve the adoption of tech once you have chosen it. And I think in your post you mentioned about picking the low-hanging fruit. It'd be great to understand what you meant by this and why it's important.
Yeah, so when it comes to expectations, I mean, legal tech is a new thing. Legal tech is something that you expect things to just happen. Like it's like the same with AI. You feel like the moment you purchase an AI tool, things are just gonna happen automatically. And it's yeah, I feel like it's I would say that the mainstream media is to blame for that because things don't happen um, sort of from one day to another. You need to train that tool for it to work for you. Otherwise, I mean, everything would be so much easier if things would just happen. I mean, look at let's say Siri. I mean, it's been what 10 years that we've been using Siri, and truth be told,
He
not
still
good.
drives me mad.
Still, it's still not that intelligent. I'm still struggling with using it, perhaps because of my accent, but perhaps it's because that Siri is not that great of a tool, and
Mhm.
other sort of assistants for that matter. So yeah, so things don't happen immediately. That's why you need to focus on those low hanging fruits and see how you can get the biggest value in the lowest amount of effort. So is it yeah, coming back to basics. Perhaps you just need to change processes slightly to use your tools that you're using now in a better, more organized way. Taking your knowledge outside of your email into knowledge management system. If you have one, great. If you don't have one, you probably should look into getting a knowledge management system because yeah, I mean that's where the information that you have is going to live and it's going to benefit a lot of parts of your organization. Yeah, things like you should have playbooks, how to deal with certain parts of the process and not just like try to make an art out of every single process, and automate as much as possible. If you can do it with the tools that you have, amazing. If you can look into technology, that is a good option if you have obviously if you can afford that, yeah, but always start low with the lowest amount of effort.
So we know that you can't just drop legal tech into your organisation and expect all your problems to magically disappear. You must first explore the low hanging fruit when it comes to improving processes and outcomes. You want to be thinking about how you can achieve the maximum business value faster. To do so, you might want to consider updating your processes, automating as many tasks as you can, using your current tools in a smarter, more effective way, creating playbooks, and doing all of the above with a user-centric approach. If you can tackle some of your challenges with these solutions, then great. If not, it's time to start exploring your legal tech options. Yeah, that makes sense. And is it related to the kind of like gap analysis and kind of mapping exercise you talked about previously in terms of how do you actually identify what the low hanging fruit is?
Yeah. I mean, this is all kind of the first stage of trying to be more innovative, like within your organization. So at that stage, you might find out a lot of interesting facts about how your company operates and different teams operate: legal team, business team, sales, and you can see where those gaps are. If those gaps are those low hanging fruits, that you can basically just change something very quickly and just make sure everyone is following the new procedure, then that's great. But if you don't have that analysis, you just, yeah, you're in the dark. You don't know what's going on. I feel like this is always a good starting point. Yeah, sometimes it's not worth. Sometimes you just have to accept that things are not efficient because there are different. There is a rationale behind it. Perhaps the company can afford to get a subscription to a legal tech tool, or perhaps perhaps the company leadership is happy with things as they are, because to change the mindset of the leadership is also quite important. Not every company CEO, CFO is happy to go into legal tech, in tech in general, because it's just a sort of personal preference, I would say, and that can really matter quite a bit when it comes to the overall strategy of the company. And yeah, you can't do much about it, but if you have that gap analysis, it gives you a starting point to go to to have the conversation with them, and to show them clearly that, okay, we can really sort of fill those gaps here with like a tool stack that we have in-house, but those sort of gaps are still something that we have to get, we have to have a different tool to work with that. And
Hmm.
yeah, and that's a starting point. If it's going to work out, maybe it's going to work out in 1 year's time, 2 years time, but yeah, it's always a good starting point to have that sort of process mapped, and those gaps analyzed in a, yeah, in a manner that would allow to start those conversations.
Hmm. Yeah, no, that's great. And to actually do a gap analysis, would you do it on like a Google Doc, for instance, or what would it look like in the real world?
Oh, I mean, this is I would say this is a personal preference. There's just so many tools. I mean, it depends. You can definitely do it on like Excel, Google Docs, Notion, and whatnot. Like there's or like Miro maps. You can map it in a nice and visually pleasing way. And also helps, because if it's just a black and white spreadsheet, then I guess the engagement is not as high as if you have like a nice sort of decision tree or like team
Yeah.
tree that is colorful and engaging. People are like, oh yeah, we should do this, and yeah, it helps. Definitely the tool helps. But I would say don't invest in platforms that you don't have just to map your process. If you already have those tools in house, sure, use them, engage your stakeholders, make it sort of make it nice, and make it that it engages your users. But if you don't, if you only have like basic stuff, then I would say, yeah, go with that, because this is very early stage of your process mapping. So I would say the value is still not high enough to like invest in expensive platforms just to carry out the basic process mapping.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it ties nicely into legal design as well if you're able to do it in a more engaging way for the users who you're involving. So yeah, that's perfect. Great. Well, I think that's all of we've got time for today. I don't know if you have anything you'd like to add on anything we've discussed.
Yeah, I can see the time flies. And yeah, I mean, I enjoyed every minute of it for sure.
Good.
And yeah, so what I can say, it's been great talking to you, Steph.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel like changing this industry is really exciting, and
Mhm.
I always love having conversations with like-minded people that really see things differently. They don't just they don't settle for what's the status quo now, but they want to introduce more value to the industry, more value to clients, because at the end of the day, we do it for our clients, and we want to make sure that we offer more. to them. So yeah, that's been a great pleasure, and yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, not at all. Thank you so much for your time. We'll be looking forward to seeing more of your TikToks and your LinkedIn posts. So, yeah, we'll stay tuned for those. So, thank you so much.